The atmosphere around the New York Yankees always carries a certain level of intensity. And right now, the conversation surrounding the team is heating up again with several developments that fans simply cannot ignore. Over the past few hours, new information has surfaced that could impact not only the Yankees' pitching depth, but also the long-term leadership of the franchise and even the emergence of one of the organization's rising arms. When you follow a team with the history and expectations of the Yankees, every piece of news feels significant, and today is no different. One of the biggest talking points circulating right now involves a familiar name that many Yankees fans remember well. Nestor Cortez, a pitcher who once played an important role in the Yankees' rotation, is now being linked to a possible move that could place him on the opposite side of the league's power structure. According to growing speculation around the league, the Los Angeles Dodgers could be evaluating the veteran left-hander as a potential mid-season addition as they navigate their own early pitching concerns. The Dodgers entered the 2026 season surrounded by enormous expectations. Their roster is stacked with elite talent, and they are widely viewed as one of the strongest contenders for the championship. But even the most powerful teams can run into trouble when injuries begin to affect the pitching staff, and that is exactly the situation they are currently trying to manage. The importance of starting pitching in Major League Baseball cannot be overstated, and when even one or two key arms are unavailable, it can completely reshape the outlook of an entire season. One of the main concerns for Los Angeles right now involves Blake Snell, who is expected to miss the early portion of the season due to a shoulder issue. The projected timeline suggests that his return may not come until late April, which creates an early gap in the rotation that the team must carefully navigate. When a contender faces that kind of uncertainty, front offices immediately begin scanning the market for experienced arms who could step in later in the year if necessary. That is where Nestor Cortez enters the conversation. At 31 years old, Cortez remains an intriguing option for teams looking for experienced pitching depth. Although he is still recovering from arm surgery and remains unsigned as the middle of March approaches, there is still a belief across the league that if he returns to full health, he could become a valuable piece for a contender. For a team like the Dodgers, bringing in a pitcher with postseason experience and familiarity with high-pressure environments could be a strategic move. Yankees fans remember very well what Cortez brought to the mound during his best years in New York. From 2021 through 2024, he developed into a dependable member of the rotation and became known for his unique delivery, competitive mentality, and ability to keep hitters off balance. During that stretch, he posted a strong strikeout rate and consistently delivered quality outings, earning the trust of the coaching staff and the respect of teammates. However, the path since then has not been smooth. Injuries limited his ability to stay on the field during the 2025 season, and his campaign ended up being split between two different organizations. Over the course of that year, he appeared in just over 34 innings, a small sample compared to the workload he had handled earlier in his career. For a pitcher who once looked like a stable part of the Yankees' rotation, it was a frustrating turn of events. Because Cortez is currently a free agent, any team interested in signing him would not need to give up players in a trade. That factor alone makes him an attractive option for organizations that want to add depth without sacrificing prospects. Reports around the league suggest that a short-term contract could make sense in this situation, possibly a one-year deal worth somewhere between $6 and $8 million with performance incentives included. Such a contract structure would give both sides flexibility. For the Dodgers, it would represent a low-risk move that adds an experienced arm to the system. For Cortez himself, it would create an opportunity to rebuild his value while pitching for a team that is expected to compete deep into October. A strong return to form in that environment could dramatically reshape his market value moving forward. If that scenario unfolds, it would certainly create mixed emotions among Yankee supporters. Seeing a former contributor potentially join another powerhouse organization is never easy, especially when that player once wore the pinstripes during some memorable seasons. At the same time, baseball is a business filled with constant movement, and situations like this happen every year across the league. While that story continues to develop, another discussion has quietly been gaining momentum among observers who follow the Yankees closely. This one focuses not on the pitching staff, but on the future of the team's leadership in the dugout. Aaron Boone has been at the helm of the Yankees for several seasons now, guiding the team through multiple playoff appearances and consistently keeping the club in the conversation among contenders. During his tenure, the Yankees have compiled an impressive regular season record, accumulating hundreds of victories while maintaining a competitive presence in the American League year after year. Despite that success, one achievement still continues to elude the franchise under Boone's leadership: another championship. For an organization with the Yankees' history, the ultimate standard is always the World Series title. Reaching the postseason is important, but in New York, the expectation goes far beyond simply making the playoffs. Because of that reality, some analysts have begun wondering what the future might hold if the team ever decides that a new voice is needed in the clubhouse. Boone's position appears secure for now, but in a sport where momentum and expectations can shift quickly, conversations about potential successors occasionally emerge. One name that has unexpectedly entered that conversation is a former Yankee who has recently been drawing attention in an entirely different role. Francisco Cervelli, once a prospect within the Yankees organization and a catcher who spent several seasons wearing the uniform, has been making headlines as a manager on the international stage. During the current international tournament taking place in the baseball world, Cervelli has been guiding his national team with remarkable confidence. Under his leadership, the team has performed at an extremely high level, pushing through the competition with an undefeated record and securing a place among the final four teams still battling for the title. For someone relatively new to managing, the way Cervelli has handled the pressure of such a high-profile event has impressed many observers around the sport. Managing in an environment filled with national pride, passionate crowds, and elimination games is not an easy task. Yet he has navigated those challenges with calm authority. That performance has naturally led some people to wonder whether Cervelli could eventually become a managerial candidate in Major League Baseball. His background as a former player, combined with his understanding of the Yankees culture from his time within the organization, makes the idea particularly intriguing to those who follow the team closely. Right now, of course, this remains purely speculative. Boone continues to lead the Yankees, and the focus inside the clubhouse remains on preparing for the upcoming season. But in baseball, the future is always part of the conversation, and when a former Yankee begins to shine in a leadership role, it inevitably captures attention across the fan base. As these discussions continue to circulate, another storyline involving a younger pitcher in the Yankees system has added an unexpected twist to the day's news cycle. This one is far less about contracts or leadership decisions and far more about a moment that turned an ordinary clubhouse morning into something a little more unusual. Inside a major league clubhouse, players usually expect the unexpected when it comes to competition, pressure, and the daily grind of preparing for a long season. But sometimes the surprises have nothing to do with fastballs, sliders, or the opposing lineup. That was exactly the case for Yankees pitcher Cam Schlitler, who recently experienced a moment that quickly became the talk of the clubhouse, and not because of anything that happened on the field. During preparations for a spring training game, Schlitler encountered a situation that most players definitely do not expect when they open their locker. Instead of simply grabbing his gear and focusing on the day's work, the young pitcher suddenly found himself staring at an enormous spider sitting inside his locker. For anyone who is not a fan of eight-legged creatures, that kind of discovery can instantly turn a normal day into something far more stressful. The situation quickly became serious enough that security had to step in and remove the unwanted visitor. Teammates reportedly reacted with a mixture of shock and laughter as the situation unfolded, and although the moment was certainly unsettling for Schlitler, it quickly became one of those strange clubhouse stories that players will likely joke about for quite some time. While the spider incident created a moment of tension, the Yankees coaching staff has far more encouraging things to say about Schlitler when it comes to his performance on the mound. In fact, one of the reasons his name continues to come up during spring training discussions is because of how impressive he has looked in recent appearances. The young pitcher has been delivering strong outings throughout the spring, showing both confidence and control against opposing hitters. Over the course of 6 innings of work during the preseason schedule, he has posted an earned run average of 1.50, a number that reflects just how effectively he has been handling the competition so far. Even though spring training statistics are always viewed with caution, performances like that certainly help a pitcher stand out when roster decisions are being evaluated. For the Yankees organization, the development of pitchers like Schlitler could become extremely important as the 2026 season approaches. The team has been dealing with several injury concerns among its pitching staff, and those situations often create opportunities for younger arms to step forward and prove that they are ready for bigger responsibilities. One of the most notable names currently dealing with recovery is veteran ace Gerrit Cole, who is still working his way back from injury and is not expected to be available for the opening of the season. Losing a pitcher of that caliber, even temporarily, places additional pressure on the rest of the rotation and increases the importance of depth throughout the pitching staff. That is why the Yankees coaching staff has been paying close attention to pitchers who are showing signs of growth during spring training. Every strong outing, every adjustment in mechanics, and every improvement in pitch command can play a role in determining who earns a larger opportunity once the regular season begins. Schlittler's progress has been particularly encouraging because it reflects the work he has been putting in behind the scenes during the offseason. Instead of simply maintaining his routine, the young right-hander spent the winter focusing heavily on refining his arsenal, especially when it comes to one specific pitch that has begun to attract attention from the coaching staff. That pitch is his cutter, which has reportedly gained both velocity and sharper movement compared to previous seasons. Recently, the pitch has been reaching speeds close to 96 miles per hour, making it an extremely dangerous weapon when paired with the rest of his repertoire. When a pitcher can combine multiple fastball variations with a breaking pitch that keeps hitters guessing, it becomes far more difficult for opposing lineups to settle into a comfortable rhythm. Coaches have noted that when Schlitler is able to mix his pitches effectively, the results can be very difficult for hitters to handle. His ability to change speeds and attack different areas of the strike zone creates a level of unpredictability that many young pitchers struggle to develop early in their careers. That unpredictability is one of the traits that can separate a promising arm from someone who truly becomes a reliable contributor at the major league level. Looking back at his previous season also provides additional reasons for optimism. During the 2025 campaign, Schlitler posted an earned run average of 2.96 across 73 innings of work. Over that stretch, he started 14 games and earned 4 victories, demonstrating that he is capable of handling a meaningful workload when given the opportunity. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.